Good morning. Someone reminded me about 2 weeks ago that I said I'd make some videos about how my training plans went earlier this year using some different plans from different apps and things like that. So I thought I would do one of those this morning and start by talking about the first training plan that I did earlier this year, which was the 5K sub 20 training plan that got me to a sub 20 5K for the first time in my life, ending up with a 19 minutes and 50 second finish time at the Podium 5K festival back in March. So for that training plan, I used something that I hadn't used before. I bought an 8-week training plan that was specifically for training for a sub 20 5K, and I bought that through TrainingPeaks, and it was a JM coaching plan. And that plan cost me, it was about £9. I think it's about $12 on the platform. And that gave me an 8-week kind of structured plan with 5 runs per week to build towards my 5K PB attempt. So just to tell you a bit about how that plan worked technically. So I bought that through TrainingPeaks, but I didn't actually use TrainingPeaks. I got a 2-week free trial, which was fine. But the plan that I bought, it wasn't a plan that would sync the workouts with either your Apple Watch or your Garmin or something like that. So you literally just got the structure of the workouts. I ended up writing them all manually through Garmin Connect because I've got very used to now doing my runs through kind of writing up my workouts or them being pushed to my watch through apps such as kind of Runner. I think Cooper do the same. So yeah, initially it felt a little bit of a step back, but once I kind of got used to the workflow of doing that, then I could kind of copy activities for the following week and stuff. So in the initial setup of it, it took quite a bit of time, but by the time the plan was getting going, it wasn't taking me too long to kind of plan the week and put those workouts in. So that's just something to consider if you are going to be buying a plan from TrainingPeaks. They do plans that will push the workouts to your device. They are normally a little bit more expensive, I think, so this one didn't. So the plan that I bought was a 5 runs per week plan, and that was generally structured in the first 4 weeks as some hill reps, 2 easy runs, either a steady or a progression run, and a long run. In weeks 5 to 8, things changed slightly. The hills sessions went and some interval sessions came in. So typically in weeks kind of 5 to 7, there was an interval run. Once again, there were 2 easy runs. There was a tempo run. So the kind of progression runs got swapped out with tempo runs, and then there was a long run again. So that tells you a bit about how the plan was structured over the 8 weeks. And now to just tell you a bit about how I found it. I was coming into this plan, it was a kind of second attempt because my first attempt at this in late 2024 was ended because I picked up a knee injury. So when I started this plan, I was coming off the back of a knee injury and my running volume had dropped quite a lot over the preceding weeks. I would say that I found this plan really hard. It was enjoyable at times, but the volume was the hardest thing. In the first 6 weeks of the plan, I missed 5 runs. That was 3 easy runs and 2 long runs. I was just finding that the rest days, I needed more of them. I think going into 5 days a week training from coming back from an injury was perhaps a bit of a mistake on my part. So I wound the volume back. The other thing that I found was some of the suggested training paces for me were a little bit hot, for want of a better word. So their easy run paces that were suggested were not easy or recovery paces for me. So I flexed the plan a little bit and I worked on the pace windows, certainly for the kind of easier and recovery sessions, the ones that I knew were easy and recovery paces for me. I learned a lot in the first kind of couple of weeks, certainly in week 1 when I tried to hit the paces that the plan was setting, and I was just absolutely crashing and burning. So my confidence, I would say, when I started the plan wasn't really great. I think I felt certainly for the first few weeks that I'd bitten off a little bit more than I could chew. But the thing that I had done, I had booked myself in to this race. I felt there was a degree of no turning back. So I just kind of carried on. I will say that I really enjoyed the hill sessions. Hills isn't something that I have typically done a lot during my running life. I'd done a couple of sessions last year just for a bit of fun to see how they were, but I really enjoyed those. When I was doing this, it was kind of January time, so fortunately near where I live there is a big hill, so it was quite easy to find somewhere to train. And the structure of those plans was you were doing sets of up to kind of 90 seconds of running up a hill at a really fast pace. I think they were the things that I enjoyed most in that plan because I actually succeeded quite well in those sessions, but because they happened earlier in the week, I think they are sometimes the things that maybe taxed my legs a little bit for the later sessions. So it was a tough training plan. One of the other things that I did in week 6 of 8 of the plan was I entered a race. I like to sometimes break up my training by putting some B races in the plan. So I entered the Leicester 10K, swapping out, I think, that week's tempo run, because I think the tempo run was meant to be 8K and I thought I would do a strong effort 10K instead. But I think this is where the kind of compounding fatigue caught up with me a bit. The race did not go well. 5K in, I walked off the course. Maybe the first time that I've ever done that. It was just not going well for me. I wasn't able to get up to any pace. I was in quite a lot of pain, actually. I think, as I say, coming back from a knee injury and then some of the kind of compounding fatigue from 6 weeks of really tough training up to that point, I think was presenting itself. So I ended up finishing the race. Some people who I know who saw me at the side of the road kind of encouraged me to get back into the race. So I did, and I finished. But yeah, that wasn't a great day, but it actually gave me the best lessons that I think I learned this year, which helped lead into the 5K race at the end of week 8. So even though I've done races and I've done marathons and things before, this was where I actually changed the plan for the last couple of weeks a bit, and I was so kind of tired from the training. At that point, I thought there's absolutely no chance I'm going to get this 5K PB, but I was going to turn up on the day and give it my best effort that I could. But what I did was in week 7, I had a really light week. So I kind of wound my training back significantly. I skipped 3 of the 5 sessions that week. So I skipped 1 of the 2 easy runs, the tempo run and the long run. I really wanted to give myself the best chance I could to recover. So I did that. And then in race week itself, I did 3 runs prescribed during race week. And I did all 3. One was I think it's pronounced Mongeti fartlek. So I did that on the Monday of race week. And then on the Friday, which was the day before the race, I just did a shakeout run, which was just 2 miles. And then it was race day on the Saturday. One of the things that I did do on the Friday, so the day before the race, was I went and got a sports massage and hoped that that would actually revive my legs somewhat. And what I would say is I woke up on the Saturday morning feeling incredible. I felt in the best race shape I would say I perhaps ever had. My legs felt loose. They felt good. I had a bag of nerves, but in terms of me physically, I felt really good. The race came around itself. There were paces for the first 4K of the 5K, which I didn't know about, which I followed, and then they peeled off for the final kilometre and you were left on your own. So I stuck to the 20-minute paces like glue for as long as I could. And then in that final kilometre, just went into a very kind of dark place and tried to maintain the pace to achieve the time that I was hoping for. And spoiler alert, there is no spoiler alert because I put a video up about that months ago. I got a 1950 5K, which was a 22-second PB on my previous best, which was a 2012. Yeah, it was one of the best days, if not the best day of my running life. Something that I'd been trying to do for years since I started running in 2013. I'd been trying to achieve this kind of, I don't know why, but this 20-minute 5K goal. I started off doing park runs, and that was kind of what I did for my first few years running, and you saw your times chip away, and then I kind of plateaued. Yeah, this was something that I wanted to achieve, and subsequently I achieved it again just a couple of weeks ago when I got another new 5K PB of 1947. So having waited 13 or so years to get it, I've now done it twice in 2025. How would I summarize how I found that training plan? Well, it got me to my goal, but I did learn in that training plan, like I have in others, the important thing is listening to your body. A training plan is just what it is. It's a plan. As I say, I missed quite a lot of the sessions. I was averaging 4 sessions a week, so I was losing quite a lot of mileage of what I should have done. However, I kind of stuck with it. As I say, I listened to my body. It was hard, so I just kind of carried on and thought my confidence wasn't massively high on race day because of exactly how much I'd missed, and I thought maybe it was a bit soon coming back from injury. But yeah, it got me to my goal. So just some kind of summary stats about that training plan. The peak week for distance in that plan was 48 kilometers. The total I ran, including the race, over that 8 weeks was 283 kilometers. There's some of the kind of facts about the distance that I was covering in my training. Would I recommend it? Yeah, because it got me to my goal. It was specific, you know, it wasn't just a 5K training plan, it was a 5K training plan to achieve a 20-minute 5K. I didn't mind going back to kind of writing all the workouts myself in Garmin Connect. It wasn't too much of a kind of burden. If one thing it did, it was actually helped me kind of understand what the workouts were. So I was knowing what I had coming up that week because I'd written the workout into my plan. TrainingPeaks I can't really comment too much on. There's a lot of stats in it, too much for my needs really. So I had a look around it in the 2-week trial I had at the beginning, but yeah, there was just a lot of things going on. So I just took the basis of the workouts that it had kind of set up for me and just wrote them in Garmin Connect. So for the money, I think it was great. You know, as I say, it was around £10. £10 got me to my sub 20 goal. So I'd say it's really good value. The way that TrainingPeaks works is you have coaches and things like that who you know make their living from coaching, and they sell plans within the TrainingPeaks platforms. It was written by someone with a massive experience running fast 5Ks. So there was confidence there that the plan was being written by someone who had experienced that much quicker, in fact, than a 20-minute 5K. But yeah, as I say, it was tough. I didn't follow it to the letter. The pacing was hard, but it did essentially get me to my goal. So yeah, that was the 5K training plan. Next video, I will talk about the half marathon training plan where I used Kip Run Pacer for the Hackney half training. But yeah, I just thought I would talk a little bit about how that plan was. So hopefully you found that useful. Any questions, let me know down in the comments. Like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. See ya.